Hi everyone, welcome to today's training session for the Forms Beta module. Before we begin, I kindly request everyone to mute their mics, and if you have any questions, you can just send it in the chat. One of our colleagues will be answering your questions, and towards the end, we will also be answering your questions. So to start, why use the Forms module? The Forms module provides you with the ability to design and digitize any forms used within your company, along with an approval process and traceability. So how do you use the module? You will first assign the custom module form to administrators, and then you can go ahead, create new forms, set up approvers for workflow, and once that has been set up, form requests can be submitted. Once form request has been submitted, approvals can be done, and you can lastly do the audit and monitoring for the forms sent. So let's go ahead and jump into the demo itself. So very first thing in the system, you'll notice that the custom forms module has been enabled in your account. So you can go ahead, click on custom form, and then go to configuration. Under configuration, you will be able to see if there is no forms created yet, this will be blank. But if there are forms created, this will be how it looks like, and you can configure your custom forms here. Here, for the individual forms created, you'll be able to see what exactly the forms are for, who the form was created by, and who it was assigned to. So these people assigned to the form will be able to submit a request. If it's published, you will notice that it's published. But if you do not wish for it to be published, you can always click on this enable icon or disable and just go ahead, disable the form. If it's disabled, your employees will not be able to submit a request. You can also choose to edit any existing forms, or if you would like to delete the forms, you can just click on the delete icon. Now let's go ahead, create a new form. So simply click on the create new button. And here we will see a pop-up to enter the form name and the form description. So for this example, I will go ahead, create a local travel expense form or local travel form. Form description will be something you can share with your employees so that they will be able to see this description as well. So here I will just enter all employees planning a business trip to maybe ASEAN countries are required to fill in and submit the local travel form. Okay. Once this is done, just click on the continue button. And here we will be able to create the form. So the very first thing you'll notice that we are on the form side. So here you'll be able to add in any fields you would like to add to the form itself. On the right-hand side of the page, you'll notice that there's basic information. This basic information are pre-filled already, meaning if I add in any of the fields here, your employees will not be able, or rather they will not need to enter any information because the system will pull up the information based on the existing data in the system. So full name will be read based on what is already in the system. Same for departments, username, any of the basic information that you use. Okay. The next thing will be to add in custom fields. So custom fields will be where you can enter the information, and this will be what your employees or anyone requesting the form will need to enter. So here you can see by default there's remarks. I have already gone ahead to create some custom fields, and any custom fields that has been created before will be listed out here. So if you notice, I have vaccination created before, and I would like to add this in. I can do so simply by clicking and dragging it in. I will also choose to add purpose of travel. And if I would like to add any other fields, I can just click on the add more button to create my custom fields. So here to create my custom field, very first thing will be to add in the field label. So one example I will be creating will be maybe to have a budget required. Here you can choose whether this will be a mandatory or optional field. So mandatory would simply mean that your employees will have to enter something in order to proceed. If I untick this, it will remain as optional. So even if they don't fill in any information, they will still be able to proceed with submitting the request. So I'll go ahead and enable this. The next one will be field type. Under field type, you'll be able to select two options. One is if it's a text field or if it's a drop-down selection. A text field will allow your employees to enter their own information. It's a free text field. Drop-down option will allow you to set certain options for them to select from. So for this budget required, I will just go ahead and create a simple yes and no option. So if you have more options, just simply click on the add more button. Once that is done, click on the save button and you'll have created the budget required or your own custom field. Once it's created, again, just drag and drop into the main section here. Let's go ahead and create another example for the text field instead. So I'll just go ahead and create one more custom field, add more. This time I will create a travel period. I will add this as mandatory as well. And for field type, I will be selecting text instead. So my employees will have to enter in the details of it rather than selecting a drop-down option. I'll click on save. And here you'll be able to see it has now been created. So again, I'll just drag and drop it in. So now that I have dragged and dropped all the fields that I would like to have in my local travel form, I'll be able to see all the options here that I added in. If I need to rearrange, I can just drag it around. If you have accidentally added in something that you wish to remove, you can still click on the delete icon. So if this is okay, we can go ahead, click on the save to go to the next part. Here, the next part will be to assign the permissions. So under permissions, you can choose who the form can be requested by. So the first option will be all, meaning all employees will be able to request for this form. So you're giving access to everyone in the company. The second option will be to choose selected employees. So if only selected employees will have access to this form, you will be able to select from the drop-down option here. Or you can simply tick the ones who will have access. So if I sort by all, I can also choose maybe certain departments. I can filter by department and then just select those under operations to be able to access the forms. I'll go ahead and assign everyone in my company with this form. The next part is to allow editing of forms by approvers. So if you would like approvers to be able to edit the form that has been submitted by employee, you can go ahead, pick this option here. Once this is done, you will notice there's a Save as Draft button. So if you'd like to continue editing this later on, you can go ahead, click Save to Draft. But if this is ready to be published and ready for your employees to use this, you can go ahead, click on the Publish icon. So let's go ahead, click on Publish. And now that we have published it, we can see the local travel form has been created. If I click on the Read More, I'll be able to see the description that I added in. This was created by me, super admin, assigned to everyone in my company, and it's currently published. Again, if I'd like to unpublish this, I just need to click on this disable icon. Okay. So once you have created your form, in future, if you need to edit it, again, just click on the edit icon and you can go ahead, edit the information. Let's go back. So now that the forms has been created, the next step will be to assign the approvers. So for approval, go into your settings, company settings, and then go to the approvals tab. Under approvals, just make sure we are under the forms tab. And here under the forms tab, this will be similar if you have done it for the leave, benefit, or expense module, how we set up the approval workflow. So only if there's an approval workflow set, then any forms submitted will follow the flow that you have created. So to create a flow, approval workflow, you can just click on the default settings or the pencil icon and go ahead and update the approval workflow. So here you can see I have different custom workflows created for my employees. This is default for all my forms. But if your company has specific workflows, specific approval workflows for the different forms, you will be able to select or set it up by clicking on this select form option. Under the select form option, you will be able to see all the different forms available in your custom forms module. So here you can see the local travel form that I have created. If I click on this, we will be able to create a new approval workflow specifically for the local travel form. Only if there's an approval workflow set up for the individual forms, then it will route to that specific approval workflow. If there's nothing set up for the forms itself, not to worry, it will follow your default workflow, which is set for all. Okay, so that will be the second step of creating custom forms, which is setting up your approval workflow. The very last thing will be the custom reports. Custom reports, it will allow you to create any reports specifically for your custom forms module. So under the reports module, you can go ahead, create a custom report. So here you'll notice that there's a module just for custom forms. If you click on the drop-down options, you'll be able to see all the different fields that we created, even those that we created today. So all you need to do is just drag and drop, just like how you would for any other reports. Once you create it, go ahead, publish it, and then it will be listed out under My Reports, where you'll be able to use the report that you created for forms. So that will be the entire process of how you would create custom forms. Now let's go ahead see how to submit the forms or how your employees will be requesting the forms. So I'll just log out as the super admin account and I'll go ahead log in into my employees account. Now under my employees account, the employee will be able to go into the custom form module under my form. And any forms assigned to that particular employee, he will be able to see it under the forms tab. All he needs to do is just click on the form itself, request button. And here you'll be able to see all the information that we created. So the full name, username, department, these were the basic fields that we added in. As you can see, it has already been pre-filled with the information in the system. All the other custom fields that we created will be able to be edited by the employee. So vaccination, I'll just select fully vaccinated, purpose of travel, budget required, travel period for the month of October. Any remarks you'd like to add, he can as well. Once that is filled up, just click on the submit button. And then you'll be able to see all the forms that I have submitted previously. Here, he will also be able to see the list of approvers. So if I click on it, you'll be able to see who will be approving the form that I have requested for. You can see the date that it was submitted as well, and the status. Any actions? You can take a look as well by clicking on the eye icon. If he has submitted it wrongly, he can always choose to delete it as well. Okay. You'll also notice there's a chat icon here. So if there's any chat that he would like to add to the approvers, he will be able to do so here. Just click on the send button. For all the forms that has been completed, you can go to the completed tab, and any forms completed will be listed out here. Now let's go ahead, log in into my super admin account again to see all the pending approvals and those that has been approved. So for approvers, once the form has been submitted, they can always go into My Form under the Custom Form module and go to the Approval tab. Under Approval tab, they will be able to see the to-do list, and any that has been approved already will be listed out under the history. So to approve, all they need to do is just click on the eye icon under Actions. If it's okay, they can proceed to approve it. Once it's approved, you'll notice that it will go into the History tab. And here you'll be able to see all the other forms that has been approved or rejected before. Under History, they will be able to see their own forms as well. So that will be the entire process for the Forms module. Now going back. So you might be wondering why use the Custom Forms module. So you will be able to create multi-level workflows of up to 7 levels. It also utilizes brand new tech stack to bring you better performance and security. You can integrate with custom reports, as you saw earlier, so you can gain insights on the forms sent. And there is an integrated chat feature for easier communication, plus many more benefits such as better data accuracy, streamlined processes, and real-time updates. So if you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact our support team via email, through the WhatsApp number, or our in-app chat. So thank you everyone for joining in our session today. If you have any questions, please feel free to add it in the chat below. Otherwise, you may leave the session right after filling up the poll. So we'll just hang around for another 5 to 10 minutes. Any questions, feel free to just add it in. Again, thank you everyone for joining in today's session.